I want to show you how I made this realistic cookie in 3D. I'll show you 3 photo scanning setups for 3 scenarios. The desktop setup for consistent, predictable results, the run and gun setup for ultimate flexibility out in the field, and the low budget option for those just getting started but not quite ready to make the investment. I'll use free software wherever I can. I hope my results speak for themselves. Soft light is our friend. For the Pro setup, that light comes in the form of my Aputure 300D with a soft light dome. This fancy turntable automatically spins and triggers my camera. It's the Foldio 360. My camera is a Sony a7 III. I'm reflecting even more light with this cheap reflector and reflecting yet again even more light with this white poster board as a backdrop. What you get with this is consistency, any time of the day or night. So for example, I have a client that needs dozens of food items scanned every few months, so this rig paid for itself well within a single project. Quick disclaimer, this setup is no good for glossy objects. For that, we want something called a cross-polarized setup. A cross-polarized setup helps with this issue. It involves using 2 polarizing filters, one on the camera lens and another on the light source, like a camera flash. Polarizing filters work by only allowing light waves that vibrate in a specific direction to pass through. When you've cross-polarized a setup, meaning the directions of the light and camera polarization are perpendicular to each other, they can effectively block out most of the glare causing reflections. In simple, practical terms, a cross-polarized setup helps to prevent glare and reflections on the object you're capturing, making it easier to create a detailed and accurate 3D model. Now that you're familiar with the concept of cross-polarization, it's worth mentioning we could also cross-polarize our desktop setup from earlier. For that, we can keep the same polarizing lens on our camera, and for the light source, we just need to purchase some polarizing film. These come in large sheets for relatively cheap. You can clamp them to your light source. You'll need to rotate your lens filter until the cross-polarization is perpendicular to the film on the lights. You can tell this is happening when the reflections start to disappear. I'll link some of that film in the description. I've also swapped out my white poster board for black and put down some black material on my turntable as well. For the cross-polarized setup, I don't want so much bounce light, just the primary light that's coming through my polarized film. You'll also notice my office has been painted black. That's not a necessary step, but I just like to be in control of the light I'm introducing to my set, so when it's time to scan, I black out my windows. Okay, so we've talked about a desktop setup, we've talked about cross-polarization. Now it's time to really dive into the run and gun and also the low budget options. So for our ultimate mobile cross-polarized setup, we want 2 things. First, we want that cross-polarization on both the camera lens and the light source. Second, we want this to be a mobile setup, something super flexible that works even in non-ideal lighting scenarios. We have our camera. For me, I'm using my same Sony a7 III with a 35mm Sigma lens. This is the same setup I use in my desktop studio rig. There's no need to have multiple cameras in my case. To polarize the lens, we need a lens polarizer. I'll link some in the description. The important thing to check here is the thread width of your lens. That's a little circle with a line through it symbol. In my case, it's a 67mm attachment thread, so I'll get a polarizer of that width. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a more affordable Tiffen polarizer in my opinion. I found these to work great. Next, we need a flexible light source, something to use on the go, even in less than ideal lighting scenarios. For this, a ring flash is an excellent choice. We just want to send even light out into the world to light an object from the camera's perspective. Preferably one with high output to compete even with direct sunlight. Again, I'll link a few options in the description. To complete the setup, we need a way to polarize this light source. I'll link a very special custom light polarizer from ScanSpace. What makes this special is its simple magnet attachment and fits every ring flash I listed in the description. For the low budget option, you'll want to run down to your local hardware store and grab a Lazy Susan. Who's Susan and why are we shaming her? I don't know, but you'll want to screw this onto a big old slab of wood. I didn't do this, but you could paint the wood a solid black or white for it to be even more featureless. Next, grab a piece of white poster board. You can also do black if your turntable is black. It won't reflect much light, but it'll help you create that featureless void as a backdrop that can help your scan. I got my poster board at a dollar store. Move this whole setup over to the largest window you can find. This is our soft light source. I threw on some tunes, got comfy, grab your phone and take pictures every few degrees. Take your time here, as they say, garbage in equals garbage out. So spend time really getting the best captures you can and images from every possible angle. Turn the cookie upside down and repeat. Make sure to do a pass around the sides as well. If not, the computer has a hard time transitioning from one piece to another, and you might end up with half a cookie. Now, I'm ready to show you the results from both of our scans. Quickly though, I think that you can do what I do. And if you want to learn more about what I do in D3D production, then go to offworlddepot.com, where I'm working on course material right now that you'll get access to as you subscribe. You'll also get access to a growing library of 3D assets that you can use for your own indie 3D productions. Thanks for watching, and please enjoy the rest of my video. Now, for both the pro and the budget options, I use the photogrammetry tool called Polycam to process the images into a model. That's found at poly.cam. It's also an app called Polycam. Now, I use the paid account to give me the ability to upload from my computer, but the app has a free version, as you saw me use in our cheap setup. This is a nice low-stress tool for me, and most impressively can be used on the go from my phone. This is nice when I'm out for a walk or something and I come across a really nice object, or the lighting happens to be just right. It's also nice that all of my scans live in an online account, so I can download them whether I'm at my desktop or I happen to be on the go with the laptop. They're all in one place. Now, I should mention Polycam sponsored this video, so yes, a paid sponsor, but I wouldn't be here asking them to sponsor me if I didn't already use the tool a ton and believe in it. So that's how I scan basic objects with Polycam. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing. It honestly does help the channel a lot. I've got 20,000 subscribers at the time of posting this, which I'm super thankful for. Until next time, thanks.